What's up, family? What's up? Welcome back to another video. So let's be real for a minute, right? When the Indiana Fever scored just 33 points in one half, I was disappointed. But Chicago, they somehow managed to do worse, putting up only 31 points in the entire second half. And that's just not underperforming. That's collapsing because the Atlanta Dream took full advantage, running away with the game, which was 88-70. And it was behind the lights performance for Rhyne Howard. She had 36 points. And she had basically was 3 for 25 of the field. And get this, she hit 9 of 19 from deep, as you guys can see. If I highlight it on the screen. So amazing performance for her. And you heard that right. 19 3-point attempts in one game. That kind of green light is unheard of. But meanwhile, over here in Chicago, we're gonna scroll down. It's chaos. Angel Reese isn't getting the ball in the post. Teammates are ignoring her, and offensive execution is non-existent. This whole system looks basically broken when it comes to their team approach, when it comes to their whole game plan, and it shows on the scoreboard, as you guys can see. And just when you think it could get even messier, DJ Carrington basically loses her cool in a tight game against the Aces. Um, 6 fouls in the fourth quarter and arguing with the coaching staff, one of her coaches, mid-play in the game, they could have won. So we're gonna break it all down: the elite performances, the chemistry breakdowns, and the moments that are raising real questions about leadership and maturity in the league. But anyway, let's get into it. So Rhyne Howard, like I mentioned, uh, absolutely torched Chicago Sky, absolutely, and it wasn't just a hot night; it was a statement game, in my opinion. She putting up those 36 points, hitting 3 of her 25 shots. But the real headline is 19 3-point attempts. That's Steph Curry territory, I guess we could say, because she knocked down 9 of them, which was a scorching 47% from beyond the arc. And that kind of volume and efficiency is rare at any level of basketball, even rarer in the WNBA. But let's put it in perspective for a minute, because most players in the league aren't even allowed to take aren't allowed to take 10 threes in a game, let alone 19. So Rhyne Howard didn't hesitate. She had the freedom, the green light, and the confidence, and she ran with it. And this kind of offensive system, where a player can let it fly like that, doesn't just happen by accident. So the Atlanta Dream coaching staff trusts Howard, as we can see, to lead the attack, and the team's floor spacing reflects that. And she wasn't forcing shots in isolation. She was moving off ball, relocating, attacking in transition, and punishing mismatches with her range. So if you compare that to what's happening in Indiana with the Indiana Fever, where players, for example, even though we know that she's coming off an injury, Caitlin Clark are sometimes limited in their freedom on offense. That's a real case to be made for giving your stats. I mean, for giving your stars room to work. And Atlanta is doing that with Howard because, like I said, Caitlin Clark are sometimes limited in their freedom or on their freedom on offense. So now I want to expand a little bit more because she didn't do it alone. We had Alicia Gray. She chipped in with a whole 15 points, as you guys could see, um, highlighted on the screen. She was 5 of 13 of shooting, not her most efficient night, as you can see, but she made timely plays. And Brianna Jones, right here, she had a whopping 13 points and 11 rebounds. She's officially passed the eye test, so there's no asterisk on her game anymore. Brianna Jones is a legitimate WNBA presence. But this was the kind of game that sends a message not just to Chicago, but the rest of the league, because Atlanta's young core is growing fast. And when Rhyne Howard plays like this, the Dream are a nightmare to defend. Let's just be honest. I'm keeping it real, but let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments, because I'm always open to the possibility of being wrong. So on the flip side, let's go down to Chicago Sky. And what's happening over there is just hard to watch. It's mind-blowing to me that you have your star, Angel Reese, which is supposed to be this franchise star, is basically not even being acknowledged by her own team to even being looked at as a way to even have an impact when it comes to putting points on the scoreboard at this point offensively, as we know. So let's start with the numbers, right? We got Rebecca Allen, right? Rebecca Allen, she has 6 points. Um, two of eight. Well, she was 2 of 8 from the field. Uh, Kia Nurse right here. Let me highlight. She had 2 points. 1 for 5, as you guys can see. That's not just inefficient. That's borderline under. That's borderline unplayable at this point. These players Chicago was counting on after a big free agency period. There was real hope, real hype, but right now it is not translating at all. And Angel Reese, who was a double-double machine last year, is struggling to find consistency. She finished with 12 points, 12 points and 9 rebounds. Not terrible, but not dominant. And it's the how that's more concerning than the what. Because she shot 4 from 10 from the field and 57% from the free throw line. And that's not going to cut it for someone who was expected to be a centerpiece. So, and it's even more telling because she's no longer living around the rim the way she used to. The offense is pulling her further and further away from her strengths, or I should say her supposed strengths. And she's catching the ball at the elbows, at the top of the key, and even on the perimeter. And that might be fine for a stretch four, but that's not Angel Reese's game. And she's more dangerous crashing the glass, finishing the paint, and drawing contact. And the issue runs deeper than individual performance because this feels systematic or systemic, I should say, because the offensive sets lack structure and there's no flow. Ball movement is minimal, and it's almost like freelancing out there because you're expecting no one to be on the same page according to how they played and watching how they played. And look, this is a team that went out and added pieces like Ariel Atkins, and who was supposed to provide veteran leadership and shot making, but she's shooting 4 of 10 from the field, making very little impact. And these moves were made with the expectations of winning now, not rebuilding, not waiting for chemistry. But that winning window is slamming shut. And if they keep playing like this, there's a difference between losing a tough game and looking lost out there. And right now, the Chicago Sky look real lost. But I'll show you guys in regards of, and I have to obviously mute the sound or the audio due to copyright purposes. But you see them refusing to give. Look, Angel Reese is cutting back door, and she's going through the screen or whatever, and she's posting up a player. She got her left hand out for the ball. Look, like she calling for it, and they not giving it to her. Like they up top of the perimeter, the top of the arc, and they dishing it. Look, she calling for the ball, and they're like, yo, they refuse to give Angel Reese the ball to the point where it's a shot clock violation. I mean, that says a lot because. And I know Angel Reese should say, "Oh, it was just a tense game. You know, defense was high. They was trying to find a rhythm. They were trying to keep the ball moving." No, honey, they wasn't trying to pass to you. They refused by any means necessary. So let's go back to the box score. So something that goes beyond the box score to me when it comes to Chicago Sky, because we're looking at it, um, the team chemistry or the clear lack of it in Chicago. There was one play that said it all that you guys just seen with Angel Reese having perfect position, sealed her off her defender, arm out, ready for the entry pass. It should have been automatic, simple sidearm bounce pass, and you in business. But instead, her teammates just ignored the hell out of her. Right? You got Rachel Banham. I think that's how you say the girl name. Look, look. Yeah, there we go. You know, look. Excuse me if I botch names, but that's that's light work. Besides the point I'm trying to make. Because Rachel had the ball in her hands, looked right at Reese, as you guys seen in that clip, and turned away. Alicia Gray had her back turned to the play entirely, and Brianna Jones was face guarding Camila Cordarso. But the entry lane to Angel Reese was wide open, and yet no pass. What happened instead? You seen the shot clock violation. But if you think about that for a minute, let's take a step further by having a productive conversation because we just having a conversation here. The team would rather let the shot clock expire than feed their big. their big, which is Angel Reese. Their most physically dominant post player when she's in perfect scoring position. And you know what I think? They just tired of them alley hoop lobs, them nutty, stupid lobs that she do, where she don't even look like she care to even put effort to put the ball up in the hoop right. So Angel Reese, you know, of course, she slumped. She didn't hide her frustration. If you watch the game and she gave up on the play, and honestly, who could blame her? She battled for the position. You get open, your teammates look the other way. It's not just a missed opportunity, though. It looks like more of a trust issue, if you ask me. And it raises the real question: is there something going on in the locker room with the Chicago Sky? On paper, the Sky said the right things. They talked about unity, about being aligned, about supporting each other. But on the court, body language, the decision making, it's telling a very different type of story. And there's a level of tension that's starting to show, in my opinion. And you don't see this kind of breakdown unless something deeper is off. So the spacing is bad, the communication is worse, and the effort looks like it's fading. And if this team is on the same page behind the scenes, it's definitely not translating on the court, if you ask me. And it's starting to feel like that there are fractures forming inside that locker room. That's just my opinion. So what makes this a little bit more alarming to me is when it comes to Angel Reese desperation, right? And how it's starting to affect Angel Reese decision making on the court. There was a moment late in the game that perfectly captured her frustration, maybe even her desperation. Um, because she gets the ball. Let me see if I can find that play. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. Here we go. Check this out. So she gets the ball, right? Um, she gets the ball beyond the 3-point line, right? See, I think they tired of them little those sloppy throws. Like they just throwing the joint up. So I really think she's beyond the three. She's beyond the 3-point line, about 35 feet from the basket. And instead of looking to pass, reset the offense, or even initiate a play, she just chucks the ball up, as you seen. A full on low percentage off balance heave. And it wasn't a buzzer beater, it wasn't a last resort shot. It wasn't a straight up I had enough moment. I mean, it was a straight up I had enough moment. But it looked like let's look at the play. I think this was I had enough moment. I'm gonna take matters into my own hands. Literally. So, and it was when she put that up there, it was 16 seconds on the shot clock. Second quarter, 2 minutes and 28 seconds. About to go into the halftime, right? That wasn't basketball to me. Which did y'all just see what we just seen? This is not basketball to me. That was a player throwing up a prayer because she no longer trusts the system or her teammates to get her the ball in a better spot. And here's the kicker. This game, right after the Sky's general manager publicly called out the team, demanding more urgency, more accountability, more fight, you expect the team to come out locked in, focused, and motivated to prove they belong, right? Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up in regards of um let me see. All right. Now mind you, this was May. This article came out May 28th, 2025. Disappointed. Chicago Sky GM speaks out amid team Angel Reese 0-4 start. Yeah, I like to pull the receipts, family. I don't like talking out my behind. So as you guys can see, right? Per Steve Greenberg of the Chicago Sun-Times Sky general manager Jeff um, Peloka called the start to the season disappointing. As you guys can see, it's been a bit of disappointing. I don't think we were expecting to get things to go this way, right? So he believes that this is the GM believes new first-year head coach Tyler Marsh and his staff can turn the Sky's fortune around. Um, we think we have pieces here. I believe a lot in the staff, this group. Continuity as people and teammates is a non-issue. They're together, they're locked in. We just need to play better basketball. We can always compete harder, but we have people here that care, and I think that's what's going to get us out of this hole. Look, bruh, this don't look like no better basketball. Like, I don't know what this is, but this ain't it. So, mind you, the Sky general manager publicly called out the team, demanding that urgency, right? But instead, they delivered one good quarter of basketball, 27 points in the second, and then completely disappeared. Just 12 points in the first quarter, 15 in the third, and 16 in the fourth. That's 43 points over 3 quarters. You're not winning anything with that kind of production. I don't think that's called playing harder, according to the Sky general manager terms that he was talking about. Right? Let me know in the comments. Especially not in a league where pace and shooting are at an all-time high. It's not just about missing shots. It's about shot selection, spacing, and effort. And in this game, all three were off. Angel Reese looked like she playing one on 1-on-5 at times. Even her best efforts can't overcome a team that seems disjointed and unsure of itself. And let's be clear, this isn't a rookie getting overwhelmed. This is one of the league's most promising young stars being systematically underused, ignored in critical moments, and now resorting to isolation heaves from near half court. It's not just a bad offensive scheme. It's players screaming. It's a player screaming without words, and that something's broken, in my opinion. Right now, and I want to switch to the aces. I want to switch to this woman. Right, it was the Dallas Wings versus the Aces. So DJ Carrington have a meltdown. She been all over the place when it comes to the media constantly. So switching gears for a minute, the Las Vegas Aces versus the Dallas Wings. This was supposed to be competitive, maybe even a signature win for Dallas. And for the 3 quarters, they were right there. But then came the fourth, and it all fell apart because the Aces outscored the Wings 24-4 in the fourth quarter. That's not just a collapse. That's a full on court unraveling. And then right in the middle of it, it was DJ Carrington. Stat-wise, she had a solid night. 15 points, 8 rebounds. But when it mattered most, she lost her composure. 6 personal fouls in the fourth quarter alone. 6. That's a complete meltdown. And it couldn't have even come to a worse point in time, or it couldn't have come at a worse time, because one of the key moments is she arguing with her coach mid-play. Like, this woman off the walls lately. Like, she crashing out. Like, the Aces are inbounding the ball. Chelsea Gray is ready to get things moving, and Dejanay is turning towards the bench, clapping her hands, yelling for challenge, completely disengaged from the play. You can literally see it on the replay. While the ref is putting the ball in play, Carrington is still facing her own sideline, pleading for the coaching staff to challenge the last call. Meanwhile, Vegas is already executing. The defense is already caught off guard. So let's be clear about how this works. The coaching staff has a live replay access on tablets during the game. When a call is questionable, they are the ones who decide whether to challenge. Based on what they're seeing on those screens, the head coach is waiting for the assistants to give the green or red light, and that's the protocol. But DJ Carrington, she decided her opinion mattered more than the system, more than the game, more than the moment, and it cost her team badly. Now, you could argue, hey, it's passion. She wants to win. Sure. But there's a line between passion and lack of discipline. And even in one possession game in the fourth quarter, that line matters. You have to be able to move on to the next play. You have to trust your coaches and focus on what you can control and the game in front of you. Instead, she made herself the center of the moment, and in doing so, Dallas gave up easy points, wasted possessions, and completely lost momentum. Her stat line might look decent, but in crunch time, she became a liability. But check it out. This is wild. She having a tantrum. That's wild, man. Well, look, man. When it comes to this maturity and accountability in the WNBA, moments like this with DJ Carrington outbursts, it don't just impact the scoreboard. It makes me, in my opinion, it makes me raise questions, larger questions when it comes to maturity and accountability in the direction some players are taking in this league. Because there's a difference between being fired up and being out of control, and between advocating for yourself and disrupting the team dynamic. And what we saw from Carrington wasn't leadership; it was a breakdown in composure at the worst possible time. The league is full of young talent, but the talent alone doesn't win games. We see that with Angel Reese. We see it with other players. The teams that come out on top are the ones with emotional discipline. How many times have we seen? Look at the last year WNBA finals with the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty. Cheryl Reeves advocated and they trusted her to speak, and she spoke on behalf of her team, and her teammates trusted her when she came to holding the referees accountable. But they still played the game. They still moved on to the next play and kept focused. You didn't see none of their players out of sync, right? Even the New York Liberty expressed their frustration with the referees. Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark, they always express their frustrations, but they leave it to the coach. They stay emotionally disciplined and play the game. But the ones that's the ones that can handle pressure, adjust on the fly, and trust each other, players and coaches alike, is my point. So Carrington's 6 fouls in a single quarter weren't just mental lapses. They were symptoms of a deeper issue. The inability to move on from a bad call is wild. The need to be in the right moment instead of being effective, and the complete disregard for defensive responsibilities while fixated on getting a challenge. It's a tough reality, but this kind of behavior is what separates good players from winning players. Good players score, winning players lead, especially when the heat is on. And let's not forget, the Wings were in position to win this game. They were hanging with the Aces deep into the fourth quarter. Aja Wilson wasn't even playing. This was a chance to make a statement, a signature win on the road against a championship caliber team, missing its superstar. Instead, the Aces, led by Chelsea Gray, throwing behind the back passes like she's in a highlight reel, walked away with the win. And the Wings left with nothing but questions, and one big one is, what if? So the frustrating part is that it wasn't because they were outmatched. It was because they imploded. In-game emotions got the best of them, I believe. Decision-making fell apart, and any sense of rhythm vanished. There's no stat line for maturity, no advanced metric for composure. But it shows up in these moments, and right now, Dallas Wings and Carrington in particular need to take a hard look at how they respond when things don't go their way. Because that's the difference between a team that's developing and one that's ready to compete for real. So, I want to know you guys' thoughts with all of this. I think I rambled on enough. To sum it up, the WNBA gave us a full range of storylines, as you guys can see. Rhyne Howard showed us what offensive freedom looks like when the franchises trust their star to take over a game. 9 threes, 36 points, 19 attempts. That's not just hot shooting. That's a green light energy from start to finish. Angel Reese, on the other hand, she's stuck in the system that's, I don't know. They lost. They stuck in the mud. That whole Chicago Sky team is lost. Angel Reese touches ain't there. The spacing is a mess. The body language is getting worse by game. And from being ignored in the post to throwing up desperation shots, it's clear something ain't right behind the scenes with Chicago or the team as a whole. Meanwhile, over in Dallas, you got DJ Carrington. She's showing flashes of a potential, but also major cracks under pressure. 6 fouls in the fourth quarter and a complete loss of composure in crunch time. That's not kind of leadership a young team can afford. These are moments that shape a season and sometimes a career, because in the WNBA, talent will get you in the door, but maturity, chemistry, and trust, that keeps you on the floor when it matters most. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Is Angel Reese being frozen out by her team on purpose, or is it just bad coaching? Was DJ Carrington sideline meltdown was just a one-off or something bigger? And how far can Rhyne Howard carry the Atlanta Dream if she keeps shooting like this? If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel for more honest WNBA coverage. No fluff, no filters, just real hoop talk, spreading that peace, love, and positivity, staying sharp, staying smart. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with more soon. And if you're tuning in for Caitlin Clark's return game, you're not alone. That one's going to be wild. Until next time, stay locked in as always. Take it easy, family. Peace.